appealing to the old base, the old sort of libertarian notion of less government in a kind of an innocent way. Anyway, that's my thought. I want to bring in John Harwood now, the New York Times and CNBC, about where these candidates are headed now, assuming the results are accurate as we've gotten them, which has Romney in first with a 37%, Paul at 24%, Huntsman at 17%, the others down around single digits, just about 10%.
Well, first of all, Chris, we're headed for a serious free-for-all in South Carolina. Mitt Romney goes there tomorrow. An advisor to Ron Paul told me he's going there tomorrow and expanding his advertising. That includes advertising hitting Newt Gingrich and Rick Santorum. That's good for Mitt Romney. This Ron Paul advisor said, we've shown now that we finished third in Iowa, second in New Hampshire, that we should be the alternative, suggesting other candidates think about dropping out of the race. Jon Huntsman is also going to South Carolina, and his team expects the super PAC backing him to have some more an ad buy in South Carolina that would give him the chance of appealing some moderate votes, especially on the coast, from Mitt Romney. So we've got a serious fight there. Mitt Romney's also going on Thursday to Florida. His super PAC has bought time. They're looking long-term, even beyond South Carolina. So we've got Mitt Romney's in a very strong position. We've got to fight ahead.
So no one's off the island?
Nobody's off the island yet. There's no indication that Newt Gingrich is going to get out, that Jon Huntsman is, unless he does extremely poorly in South Carolina, which of course is possible. No indication that Santorum is out yet. He is going to contest. He's polled well in South Carolina. So on the 21st, we're going to find out how durable this success
What's
that Mitt Romney
Perry going to do down there, having apparently done nothing here? What's he going to, he may be with Buddy Roemer here, down around 1. Why is he going on?
The Romney campaign tells me their polling shows he is a spent force in South Carolina. However, he still has some advertisements, and he's got some money on the air. We've got a very heavy ad campaign, heavier than we had here in New Hampshire, and he's going to try to take a dent out of Mitt Romney and see if in that southern state where he ought to have more appeal than he's shown up here or even in Iowa, whether he can either end his campaign on a more graceful way than he finished in Iowa or perhaps break through.
Let's go to John Harwood of New York Magazine, of course, the author of the great book, Game Change, about the last campaign, and an MSNBC analyst. Let me ask you about this thing. If you're writing the book, which you are for this time around, is there a plot point here? Did something happen in New Hampshire that's worthy of a chapter, that says something?
Well, I think if you combine Iowa and New Hampshire together, the lead of this whole story is Mitt Romney is the first Republican who is going to have won Iowa and New Hampshire ever in history. And you got to take your hat off to him for having done that. It puts him in an extraordinary position of strength going into South Carolina, and partly for the reasons that John just said. What they did in Iowa was you had a fractured conservative vote that allowed Romney to win by only 8 votes, but with only 25% of the vote. Now he goes to South Carolina, his weakest state among the early states, and he has Iowa all over again. All of these guys not voted off the island. All of them still down there trying to somehow become the consolidated coalition conservative alternative to Romney, and yet conceivably still fracturing the vote. The only bad news out of New Hampshire for Mitt Romney is if John is right, and I don't know if John is right, is if Jon Huntsman goes to South Carolina and has money behind him. I have thought for a while that as Huntsman started to rise here, that this was for Huntsman a primary that had an audience of 1. And that audience of 1 was his father, Jon Huntsman Sr., a man with $1.5 billion who everyone in the Huntsman campaign thought was going to spend a lot of money, tens of millions of dollars put into this Huntsman super PAC. He has not done that in the course of the last 7 months. And I thought that this primary would be a signal to Jon Huntsman Sr. Is my son in this in a viable way or not? If he decides tomorrow morning that third place is good enough and writes a $10 million check to the Huntsman super PAC, Jon Huntsman can go down to South Carolina and Florida and strafe Mitt Romney on the air.
To what effect?
From the left.
And to what effect in a conservative state?
Well, there is vote on the coast in South Carolina.
I know,
that is relatively moderate. And that is something Romney, though, has never had to contend with. He's never had to fight for moderate Republican votes.
Let me. And by the way, you would think that Jon Huntsman's dad would have at least as much motivation to help his son as Sheldon Adelson did to help Newt Gingrich.
Okay, let's go back to reality here. I know this is all part of the situation, but let's go back to what's happening here once we get away from the side part of this. Mitt Romney wins the first 2, never been done before. What we do know in modern Republican primary history, if you win South Carolina, you are the nominee. Is that still true, John?
I think so. If Mitt Romney wins, he's the nominee. But, of course, he is playing this long game. My colleague at the New York Times, Nick Confessori, reported tonight $3.6 million ad buy in Florida by the Mitt Romney super PAC. He's playing the long game. He's the only guy who we know right now can play that long.
Okay, you're looking at the internals here. Where's the love for Romney? Describe is it the upper income, economically comfortable, if you will, the person who's the object of envy? Are they the people that really embrace with love and affection Mitt Romney? Because I don't know those people.
Well, yes, and here in New Hampshire.
They are there. It is wealthy people.
Here in New Hampshire, he does better upscale, does better college graduates, does better older. But he held his own among the Tea Party vote, among the evangelical vote, among the Catholic vote.
But do they love him?
No.
Okay, let's get back to Rachel. It's still strange they have a nominee they're about to marry without love.
You know, I don't think love is a prerequisite at this point. I think a marriage of convenience is what everybody not only expects, but is actually maybe looking forward to a little. Marriage of convenience here. All right, thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. I should let you know that we've been told by a spokesman for Jon Huntsman's campaign that Jon Huntsman has called Mitt Romney to congratulate him tonight. Spokesman describing Jon Huntsman as telling Mitt Romney, congratulations, you're a good man. You looked great up there with your family on stage. I'll see you in South Carolina. We are expecting to hear from Jon Huntsman any moment. Stay with us.
The Place for Politics 2012, brought to you by Nissan, innovation for all.
Wouldn't it be cool if you took the top down on a crossover? If there were buttons for this? If your transmission never changed gears? Wouldn't it be cool if your car could handle the kids and the Nürburgring? Or what if you built a car in Tennessee that could change the world? Yeah, that would be cool. Nissan, innovation for today, innovation for tomorrow, innovation for all.
An accident doesn't have to slow you down. With better car replacement, available only with Liberty Mutual Auto Insurance, if your car is totaled, we give you the money for a car one model year newer. To learn more, visit us today. Responsibility. What's your policy?
Hello?
Hi, this is the sea calling.
I'm talking to the sea? Is this for real?
Yeah.
What?
I want you to close your eyes and imagine a place in the middle of me where the world revolves around you.
Can I go now?
Sure.
Still getting your business internet and phone from the phone company? Here are 3 reasons to switch to Charter Business. 1, our 16 meg business internet is up to 5 times faster than standard DSL or T1 service. 2, our business phone service delivers reliable calling and you can keep your phone number. 3, you save money, lots of money. Get business internet and phone for only $89 a month, only for a limited time. Stop paying too much with the phone company. Switch to Charter Business today. Call 877-BIZ-BUNDLE.
Ever since we got Charter Internet, Timothy's been acting a little...
odd.
Charter has increased its internet upload and download speeds again. I can download 8 songs in 3 seconds, or an entire movie in 2 minutes. I can do anything. I am the internet.
Timothy?
Invisibility!
I can still see you, you know.
Don't have Charter Internet? Call today and get speeds up to 30 megs for only $30 a month.
America's conversation will start here with a recap of the results from New Hampshire. Morning Joe, tomorrow 6 to 9 a.m. on MSNBC.
You want to know why we don't have enough economic growth in this country? Because the middle class doesn't have the disposable income that they used to have. They're feeling the pressures of health care, pension, just keeping their job. And all the Republicans talk about is more tax cuts for the wealthy. We can't raise taxes on the job creators? Really? Where are the jobs?
Right now, Mitt Romney projected as the winner in New Hampshire tonight. second place finisher projected as Ron Paul. Right now, with 50% of the vote in, Mitt Romney projected to have 37% of the vote, Ron Paul with 23% of the vote, John Huntsman in third place with 17%. In fourth place, Newt Gingrich and Rick Santorum, both very close, both at 10%. You can see just a couple hundred votes there between them. Again, this is just 50% of the vote in, and then Rick Perry distantly behind at 1%. We're waiting right now to hear from John Huntsman, expecting a speech from him any moment. I will say, looking at the Ron Paul results tonight with him in second place in New Hampshire, he got 21% of the vote in Iowa. All along, his campaign has been saying, we're going for a caucus strategy. We're going for a delegate strategy. We're going to lock up as many delegates as we can. And we know they have the money to stay in for the long game. Everybody's talking about the long game here. Ron Paul has his own long game with his own almost unquenchable pool of donors. Ron Paul is planning on staying in and taking as many delegates as he can. What is he going to do with those delegates? I do not believe that Ron Paul's goal in life is to get a speaking slot at a Republican convention. In 2008, he set up his own convention. Remember, they were in the Twin Cities? He was in the other Twin City. He was in St. Paul, Minnesota, in Minneapolis. He set up his own convention, had 10,000 people there, and he's there for, as he describes it, the cause of liberty, the liberty movement. What will Ron Paul do with those delegates that he locks up? We're going to be talking about that over the course of the evening. Right now, we're looking at John Huntsman at John Huntsman headquarters tonight. Mr. Huntsman coming in third place tonight there with his family on stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think we're in the hunt. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd say third place is a ticket to ride, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, South Carolina. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here tonight because of you. We've got the greatest volunteers, the greatest organizers this state has ever seen. Give yourselves a hand. And we prove the point that this state wants its candidates to earn it the old-fashioned way. That's on the ground, handshake by handshake, conversation by conversation, vote by vote. We got it done, ladies and gentlemen. You know what else we got done during this great 7 months where we've had at least 170 public events in this great state. 170 public events. No one even came close. We had conversations about the importance of putting this country first, ladies and gentlemen. Because the people... Because the people of this great nation, the greatest nation that ever was, they're tired of being divided. They want leadership that will stand up and tell us all that first and foremost we need to come together as Americans in order to solve our problems. We need a president, ladies and gentlemen, who's going to stand up and say we have an economic deficit. It's called $15 trillion in debt. This isn't a debt problem. It is a national security problem, and we are not going to leave it to the next generation of Americans, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to stand up, and I want to square with the American people about this. Afghanistan is not our nation's future. And Iraq is not this nation's future. Our nation's future is how prepared we are to rise up as the American people and hit head-on the competitive challenges of the 21st century. You know what I'm talking about? And this is about economics. And this is about education. And this is going to play out over the Pacific